Hi guys, and welcome back to another Tech Minds video. Well, it kind of had to happen, didn't it? This is a handheld radio transceiver that actually incorporates ChatGPT. Yep, you heard that correctly. Now this is the Choyong WT2 and it's packed with features. It can be internet enabled either by Wi-Fi or using a cellular network with its inbuilt eSIM support. That's pretty crazy, right? Now there's an onboard analog radio transceiver as well, which supports between 400 to 470 MHz, and you can create memories with offsets and CTCSS tones. With the internet enabled, you can also make use of PoC, which is push to talk over cellular, and this provides global communications. FM broadcast, medium wave and shortwave reception is also possible due to an onboard TEF6686 chip. And not only can you listen to regular broadcast stations, you can also search and listen to over 50,000 online radio stations. Now that's where ChatGPT comes in, to aid you in searching for a radio station you like amongst those 50,000 plus stations. Okay, so let's go through each of these features and test them out. Now to get connected to the internet, you can either subscribe to their eSIM service, where you have to grab a verification number from the radio itself, and then you head to their website to sign up for the eSIM service at a cost of less than $1 per month. Or the other option is to connect the radio to your home Wi-Fi or even tether it to your own mobile device in hotspot mode. Connecting to Wi-Fi is performed through the settings menu. You just enable Wi-Fi and then scan for available networks. Once you find your network, select it and then you can enter the password for that network. Once connected, you can now start to access the internet-based features like listening to online radio stations. So if we go into the internet radio station area, we can use the search feature to speak out loud a search term, a bit like this.
Drum and bass.
Now this will then use ChatGPT to go off and find internet radio stations based on your search speech. And once found, just choose the one you like the look of and press play for it to start playing. Of course, there are lots of curated station lists available here, selections by country, music genre, even podcasts and news channels. Okay, so the other internet-based feature is PoC, or push to talk over cellular. Now, if you press the PTT button once, you'll be taken into the menu where you can choose to use either the PoC-based system or the inbuilt analog RF on UHF. So first, let's try PoC. Now once here, we can go ahead and select the default global group, and once selected, you can see how many other users are connected. You can go ahead and press the PTT button and see if you can make some contacts. However, if you wanted to create your own private group, you can also do that by pressing 0 and then selecting Create Group. Now groups are identified by a number, kind of formatted like a UHF frequency. You also need to create a password for this group or channel, and I'd advise to stick to something simple like 123456, just so that others can easily join it. If you do want your own private group, then just create a password that only you and your friends know. You will then see your new group listed in the groups list, so press OK to make it the default and then connect to it. Now I have another WT2 here, so with me in another room, let's just see what it sounds like over PoC.
Testing 1 2 3 4 5. 1 2 3 4 5. Testing over internet. Testing over internet. 1 2 3 4 5.
Now while we're in the PTT area, let's just take a look at the analog RF feature. This supports a frequency range from 400 to 470 MHz with an RF power of a maximum 2 watts, apparently. Now using this simple mode is just like using a simplex channel, direct dialed using the numeric keypad on the front. However, if you want to get a little bit more creative and use your local repeaters, then you can go ahead and create a new channel. Now this involves setting a transmit frequency, a receive frequency, and whether or not to use CTCSS or DCS, and even a power level from low, mid to high. Now there is a setting to create a channel name, but it appears at this stage it's only a number. I cannot seem to add a text to this, which is quite a bit of a shame because repeater call signs are not just numeric, they're alphanumeric. Now any of the new channels that you've created will be listed on the screen. You can just use the arrow buttons to scroll up and down them and you just press OK on the one that you want to connect to make it the default and active channel. Now this is what it sounds like receiving on the WT2 with RF on the UHF band.
M0 DQW testing over. 12345 M0 DQW testing.
Now using my SDR receiver, let's just hear what the transmitted audio sounds like.
This is M0 DQW just testing. M0 DQW testing the audio transmission on the WT2. M0 DQW testing over.
Now one of the most important tests that we can perform on a transceiver is the spurious emissions test. And this is where we test the power levels of the harmonics. Now looking at this result with the radio set to around 434 MHz, we are actually seeing a clean output with no nasty harmonics being above legal requirements. By testing the power output levels in watts, we're seeing around 1 watt on high power, as opposed to the rated 2 watts from the specifications, although it's not really that much of an issue. The WT2 can also receive on the FM broadcast band, no RDS apparently as far as I can see, but reception seems quite sensitive, even using the short antenna that came with it. Now receiving on the shortwave band is also possible from a few hundred kilohertz up to 30 megahertz. Now unfortunately it is only AM though. If it did have SSB, it would actually be 100 times better. I also needed to use my external antenna because the antenna that came with it didn't appear to work that good on the shortwave bands.
You know what, that's really interesting because I wrote in my notes, why has he abandoned the control and composure that they employed last year to win the title?
You can also play audio files like MP3 files that are stored on the SD card. The SD card slots into the hole here under the top rubber cover next to that antenna port. Now the speaker within the WT2 is okay, but for better all-round quality, connecting a Bluetooth speaker sounds really good.
What was the cause of the incident, everybody wondered. Had Cloudflare fallen victim to the kind of DDoS attack it's famous for preventing?
Oh, well, there we go, guys. That's the Choyong WT2. Kind of a strange little concoction of features within a handheld radio here. And I'm very curious to know what you guys think about it. Do you think this has a place in the market? Is it something that you might be interested in? I'll leave a link below, obviously, where you can go and check it out and also check the price. I think at the time of making this video, it was around £100. Now, whatever that is in your currency, you're going to have to work that out. Until next video, take care of yourselves, and we'll see you in the next video.